Bound for Glory, the Impact Wrestling World Championship. What is going on when it comes to the Impact Wrestling World Championship and it comes to Bound for Glory? It's a very interesting situation because I think plans have changed. I think plans are in a bit of a state of flux right now when it comes to the Impact Wrestling World Championship and Bound for Glory, because we're hearing one thing about plans for the main event of Bound for Glory, and then we're seeing something else take place on Impact Wrestling Television. Now, previously it was announced and reported by Fightful and Fightful Select, the guys like Sean Ross Sapp over there, who are very, very credible people when it comes to this kind of information. They have a great relationship with Impact Wrestling. That's how you have to look into these things. They're not just pulling this out of thin air. They have a good relationship with Impact, so they've obviously heard it from somewhere that the plan was, a couple of weeks ago, that the main event of Bound for Glory for the Impact World Championship was going to be Eddie Edwards defending the Impact World Championship against Ken Shamrock. Now, I've spoken at length about that. I thought maybe that wasn't the best main event they could do. And is that really a Bound for Glory worthy main event? I liked Eddie Edwards as world champion, but Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock for the world championship, the main event of arguably the biggest show of the year, is that good enough? And the answer really was no. But I thought maybe there was ways that they could do it. Maybe you'd have Ken Shamrock put his career on the line, something like that. They could do something like that. But maybe plans have changed here, because also, as part of that report, it was announced or reported that Eric Young would have his feud with Rich Swann culminate at Bound for Glory. Of course, both stars have been feuding. Eric Young returned to Impact Wrestling at Slammiversary, attacked Rich Swann's surgically repaired ankle. This then led Rich Swann to retire on Impact Wrestling a few weeks after that. Eric Young then interrupted that retirement moment and attacked Rich Swann once again. And this led last week to the Impact World Championship match between Eddie Edwards and Eric Young, which then a lot of people, myself included, thought, well, I would have Eric Young win the World Championship there, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen because these reports have since come out that it's going to be Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock at Bound for Glory. But then things changed, because last week on Impact Wrestling, Eric Young defeated Eddie Edwards to become the Impact World Champion. Now, as I mentioned last week, this was absolutely the right call. Absolutely the right call. If something's hot, if something's over in the way that Eric Young is right now in Impact Wrestling, you change plans. You go with what's working. And to me, Eric Young is the best thing in Impact Wrestling right now. He is the guy. Nobody can touch EY in Impact Wrestling right now. And I think he's just done fantastic. And you look back to his return at Slammiversary, which it was a surprise return, but I think a lot of people saw it coming, myself included. We'd done videos here on the channel speaking that Eric Young was amongst the names very, very likely to return to Impact Wrestling at Slammiversary, and it's exactly what happened. And then, so when he did return, I thought, cool, Eric Young. I'll be totally honest, I wasn't jumping out of my chair that Eric Young had returned to Impact Wrestling. I thought, well, predictable. I think everyone saw it coming. Cool. Let's hope that he has a good run there. And then when they shot that angle of him attacking Rich Swann's ankle in a fit of rage after Rich Swann had eliminated him from the Impact World Championship match, the way that Eric Young sold the violence, the way that Rich Swann sold the pain and the injury that he was in right there, and the way that they had Don Callis, who was on commentary for Slammiversary Salet, saying, how dare Eric Young, he's taken this moment away from Rich Swann. Rich Swann's overcome unbelievable hurdles and obstacles to return to Impact Wrestling. He has pins and he has plates and all of this sort of stuff put into his ankle. Doctors told him he was never going to walk again, and he's returned. And look at Eric Young. This world-class maniac is taking it away from Rich Swann. And I was in love with the angle straight away from then. I thought this was brilliant. I thought this was absolutely superb. And from then, it's just gone from strength to strength to strength when it comes to Eric Young in Impact Wrestling. As I mentioned, the Rich Swann retirement angle I thought was excellent. It's one of the best bits of TV you're going to see across all major professional wrestling companies this year. I thought the promo by Rich Swann was very, very good. There was real emotion. His voice was cracking. You had the wrestlers come to ringside. They smacked the apron, sort of clapped him off into retirement. And then once again, you have Eric Young come out, attack Rich Swann, get even more heat on Eric Young. And that sets up the future World Championship match between Eddie Edwards and Eric Young last week. And I was very much an advocate at the time for saying, you've got to switch the title. You've got to switch the title to Eric Young. And then this report comes out from Fightful, looking at this potential Bound for Glory card. And a lot of the matches that they've said on that card, I do think are going to happen. I thought that Eric Young versus Rich Swann was going to happen at Bound for Glory. I think Deonna Purrazzo versus Kylie Rae for the Impact Knockouts Championship is going to happen at Bound for Glory. I think we're probably going to see the Motor City Machine Guns versus the North versus the Good Brothers versus Ace Austin and Madman Fulton. All of that sort of stuff makes sense, and they didn't mention EC3 and Moose, but I think EC3 and Moose is going to happen too at Bound for Glory. So a lot of that information that came out in that report, I completely agreed with. Support for WrestleNews 365 is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Now, Manscaped, for all of my UK fans out there, Manscaped just launched in the UK. Over here in the United Kingdom, we have gone for years and years and years without using the right tools for the job. But now you can be one of the first men in England to experience their life-changing product. But it's not just limited to all of the great fans over here in the UK. This offer goes worldwide, so all of my friends over in America and around the world that are listening to this offer still does apply for you. You can still use our code. But I've got to tell you a quick story first. Now, there have been so many times, right? I'm a guy. You gotta groom down there, fellas, right? That's the most important thing. You gotta keep yourself trimmed. You gotta keep yourself proper. And a lot of the time, I've been guilty of this, of using the wrong tools for the job. I've had incidences, I'm not afraid to say it, where things have been nicked, snagged, or in fact cut down there because I wasn't being careful enough and using the right equipment. Now that just shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. You don't want to be worrying about cutting yourself down there. Do you know how painful that is? I can tell you, it hurts quite a lot. And I wish and hope to God it never happens to me again, and it won't happen to me ever again because I'm using Manscaped products. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. The Manscaped engineering team has perfected the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. Big statement, but it's absolutely true. They have just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 in the UK. It's also available around the world as well. Their third generation trimmer features a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. So those cuts and snags that I was telling you about before are a thing of the past. And let me tell you, when I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes so you can get a longer, perfect shave. And not only that, you don't want to be cutting yourself and trimming yourself all over the bathroom, getting hair all over the place. That's just disgusting. The lawnmower has a waterproof technology that allows you to groom in the shower, so no more mess. And one of the coolest features, one of my favorite features about the lawnmower is the LED light which illuminates grooming areas for a closer and more precise trimming experience. So you can shave longer, you can shave more precisely, and you can shave in the shower. What more did I need to tell you? They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology, and let's not forget about the charging stand. You can show off your mower loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a convenient charging dock powered by USB. So, if you are listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Let's get that bush to tush clean, and you can get 20% off and free shipping. Yeah, you heard me right there. 20% off and free shipping. All you have to do is use the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. Make your testies their besties. That's 20% off and free shipping. Not only are you getting 20% off, you're getting free shipping as well with the code 365wrestle at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the code 365wrestle. Your balls will thank you. And I thought that it was really possible that Eric Young was going to win, and then this report comes out, and I thought, well, it's saying that Eric Young is going to face Rich Swann at Bound for Glory. Does that feud need the world title? Probably not. And they're saying that Eddie Edwards is going to face Ken Shamrock, and that feud does need the world title because Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock doesn't do anything for me unless it's not the main event, because I think the main event of the show now has to be Eric Young versus Rich Swann. I think it's the best thing on Impact TV right now. So there was so much involved that I thought, wow, it's going to be Eddie Edwards retaining somehow. And that wasn't the case. Impact did exactly the right thing. They switched the bout. And Eddie Edwards did have a short title reign. He defended it multiple times in that title reign because he had the open challenge format every week. But he did have a short title reign. And usually I'm not one for encouraging short title reigns. I don't think they're really necessary. But I think here it was absolutely the right call. Absolutely the right call. I think his run so far has just been that good. And, usually I'm not a massive fan of having such short title reigns, but I think this is absolutely the right call. It's absolutely the right call. Eric Young has just been so phenomenal recently. He's probably my favorite act in Impact Wrestling right now. He's the top heel in the company. He feels like such a big deal right now, and he's on a massive roll, and he's featured front and center in those Bound for Glory advertisements. And again, I've been very high in my praise for Impact Wrestling's production of these Bound for Glory advertisements because they're really, really good. Really good. And Eric Young is the main guy on there, so it makes sense that he's the top heel in the company. He's front and center on these Bound for Glory advertisements. He should be in the main event. And historically, the main event match should be for the World Championship. And he's a World Championship caliber athlete in Impact Wrestling right now. I think it was absolutely the right call. So this shows that plans are changing. That card that was released by Fightful isn't 100% accurate as of yet. Now, obviously, today is September the 8th, and Bound for Glory takes place in October the 24th. So there's still, 5-6 weeks until Bound for Glory. Plans can change, and perhaps we will still get Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock for the Impact World Championship at Bound for Glory. As I mentioned, there's 5-6 weeks. Maybe Eric Young holds the title for a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then Rich Swann is the one to return and cost Eric Young the World Championship. That then allows Eric Young and Rich Swann to continue their rivalry and move off into Bound for Glory, and then it leads to Eddie Edwards and Ken Shamrock having the match at Bound for Glory. I'm not saying that both matches aren't going to happen now, but it makes you wonder if plans are changing, if Impact Wrestling is rethinking this, because they're looking at the work that Eric Young is doing, they're looking at his feud with Rich Swann, and they're saying this is really, really good, and yeah, it's a personal rivalry, and does the match really need the World Championship? I don't think so. It's so personal that Eric Young and Rich Swann itself, I don't know what kind of match it would be. I have a feeling that it would be some form of unsanctioned match or a cage match or something like that. That alone would be a great match to see at Bound for Glory. The storytelling in this feud has been so great so far, then that would make a lot of sense to me. But if it does have the World Championship involved, then it really does go up a level. And is Rich Swann capable of being a world champion? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that one. I think that I wasn't under the impression he was capable of pulling off the promo that he did when he did his retirement speech. I never thought that Rich Swann was this amazing promo guy, but then he did that promo, that retirement promo, that I thought was absolutely superb. So who knows where Rich Swann's ceiling is at this point? I think he's capable of anything. And what a story Impact Wrestling has the potential to tell here, right? Because if Eric Young versus Rich Swann is the main event of Bound for Glory for the World Championship, you can finally have not only Rich Swann defeat the world-class maniac calculated villain that is Eric Young, but you can also have Rich Swann become the world champion, and then what a story that is. You have Rich Swann get injured at the start of this year in 2020. He has 2 surgeries, he has pins, he has plates put in his ankle. He returns at Slammiversary, has his career cut short by Eric Young, is forced to retire, and then he comes back at Bound for Glory, defeats Eric Young in the main event of the biggest show of the year, and become the world champion. What a story that is. That is such a fantastic story to tell that I think Impact Wrestling must be looking at this saying, this story it's evolved and it's kind of fallen into our laps at this point that maybe, just maybe, we're going to have to change the plans. Yes, the idea maybe was to have Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock for the World Championship in the main event of Bound for Glory, but now the way that this story is evolving and presenting itself to us between Eric Young and Rich Swann, maybe we need to go with that, and maybe we need to double down on it. And I would speculate that maybe that's what they've done. Now, As I mentioned, potentially we could see something completely different. We could see Eric Young only hold the title for a couple of weeks. Rich Swann costs him the title. They go off for their thing at Bound for Glory. Ken Shamrock and Eddie Edwards happens, and the report from Fightful is accurate. But I don't know if that's the best option right now. If they're going to do Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock, I'd much rather it not be for the World Championship, and then they can go in a different direction. I think that's maybe the way to go. So I think also Eric Young only holding the championship for 2 weeks, 3 weeks at most, I think that would hurt Eric Young, the role that he's on. And then on the flip side of things, if you're going to build up an Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock Bound for Glory main event, you're going to need more than 2 weeks. So they're working with limited time right now, and I think they wouldn't have switched the title just to switch it again. I just don't see why they would do that. I think also they switched the title last week because there is a lot of buzz and a lot of momentum with Impact Wrestling on Access TV right now. It's the highest rated show on Access TV. Anthem are very, very happy with Impact. Since Slammiversary this year, they've done record numbers on social media, on YouTube and on Twitch and on Impact Plus, their on-demand streaming service. So they're doing very well. And I think they switched the title last week also just to kind of keep that momentum going. Say to fans, look, we just had a TV special spread over 2 nights, Impact Emergence. And then the following week, the world title changed too. Anything can happen on Impact Wrestling and anything will happen on Impact Wrestling. So I think that's also a factor as to why Eric Young won the title last week. But I think the main thing involved with Eric Young winning the world title last week is the fact that he's doing so well. He's just doing so well at the moment with Impact Wrestling. It makes sense. That's how you keep momentum. You keep shocking the audience. You keep people watching. And when something's working, you double down on it. You keep going. So I think it was absolutely the right call. And to me, this would suggest that there is a change in the main event of Bound for Glory. Right now, if I had to guess and try and read the lay of the land, I would suggest that we're going to get Eric Young versus Rich Swann in the main event of Bound for Glory for the Impact World Championship. And I still think we're probably going to get Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock, but I think it's likely that's just going to be a regular match or a match, mid-card match or an upper mid-card match at Bound for Glory. But at this point, it doesn't look like it's main eventing. And that's no slight to Eddie Edwards and Ken Shamrock. I thought Eddie Edwards did well as the world champion, and who isn't a fan of Ken Shamrock? His work in professional wrestling is great. He's a legend, and he could still kick anyone's ass right now. But Eric Young is the biggest and best heel in Impact right now. He continues to prove he can do everything in pro wrestling. He can be a comedy babyface. He can be a psycho heel. He can be an underdog hero like Daniel Bryan. He can be a calculated villain, which is exactly what he is now. His versatility is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And like I said, I've probably sound like a broken record at this point, but Eric Young winning the world title last week was the right call. He's absolutely the best thing going on in Impact Wrestling right now. He's the top heel and arguably doing the best work of his career. And it just shows that if something's working, Impact is willing to change. And plans do look like they have changed for Bound for Glory. But of course, as always, this is just one man's opinion. What are your thoughts on the potential change of plans for Bound for Glory for the main event for the Impact World Championship? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'll be sure to respond and reply to all of your comments. Really enjoy interacting with you guys on this channel. If you have enjoyed this video, please do smash a like on the like button as well. Really just help us out here on YouTube, go up the rankings and get into people's recommendation feeds if they haven't seen our videos before, so help spread the word. You can also subscribe. That's the most important thing. You can do that by clicking the bottom right hand corner of the screen right now, or if you wait a few seconds, there'll be a subscribe button at the end of this video along with another video for you to watch. We're less than 50 subscribers away from 800 subscribers now on that long road to 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. You can also follow us on our social media platforms. The handles are on the screen right now. The links are in the description box below. It's at 365Wrestle on Twitter and Instagram, and at WrestleNews365 on Facebook. So be sure to give us a like or a follow there if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.